Hi all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and as always, if you're new here then welcome, and if you do like this video please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and yes, I know I say that every time, but it's true. Okay, so this is another hour in my sketchbook study, this time, as you know, focusing on mouths. The reason why I wanted to focus on mouths was after doing the 100 Heads challenge, which you can see a review video of that challenge on my channel. Hopefully I can get it on one of those little info tags at the top of this video, where you can just click on it and get access to that video. But the last couple of videos where I've tried doing that, I've had a bit of an issue with. I'm not sure whether it's the Wi-Fi, the laptop itself, or just YouTube being difficult. I have no idea, but if that works, that'll be above. If not, then just check out my other videos and it will be along there, just after the Inktober ones. But yeah, so after doing the 100 Heads challenge, obviously you've drawn 100 faces, and when I was going back over and doing the review video, I noticed that a lot of the mouths were very similar. Like, there was very little expression in them, and I noticed I loved doing beards because it gave a different dynamic to the piece rather than just being lips with a very neutral expression. Partly I could have chosen some portraits with different expressions and pull in different faces to help with that, but the other part I've noticed, it is my natural thing to do, is just keep a very generic closed mouth and not really try to expand and push the boundaries, which kind of meant I was being a bit stagnant. And as an artist, especially lately when I've really tried to up my game in improving my skills, I decided that this was something I needed to address. So doing a mouth study was something that I thought, if I can get right, then I can start getting a bit more expression into my artwork, similar to what I did with the eyes study video, just getting a little bit more expression into the eyes and focusing a bit more than what I had been doing previously. So that's the plan. But yeah, it went well. I drew all these out in pencil before I started filming. It took me about 15 minutes to draw them out, and I did find that drawing the teeth was the hardest part. And this is generally why I've always kept mouths closed, because I have always struggled with drawing teeth. Either I found them to be too large or too wide, or I haven't quite got that scale right, or there was always something that I just felt like they just didn't really work. I do feel a bit better after drawing these out and painting them. I do feel like I have improved, but I think there's still improvements to be made. So I might do some more studies on just drawing teeth in general. If that's something that you would like to see, let me know, because I may not film that, because it's more, I don't know, it's just more different, and it'll be one that I'm going to struggle with. But if you'd like to see and just get an idea, then just let me know. But yeah, so that's one that I want to improve upon. So a lot of the mouths I did, obviously, humanoid mouths. One like blowing a breath of air out, one different tongues in like different positions, whether it's touching the top lip or just having a tongue poking out slightly, and then of course biting lip and things like that. I did, however, do one which was my style that I've really started to enjoy, which is with the tentacle coming out, adding that little bit of surrealism to a piece, so it's more alien-esque. But I've really enjoyed that. I love that kind of almost like pop surreal type style. It's definitely a style that I've really been embracing lately. I like adding a surreal element to all my pieces, and I just thought the page was looking good, because obviously I had mouths and different expressions and stuff, but I thought it really needed something just to break it up and have something that's completely different, and that's why we have a tentacle coming out instead of a tongue, because, you know, why not? But yeah, to do this, obviously I used gouache. It is fast becoming my favourite medium, and I did use my Reeves gouache set for the majority of it, apart from the pink, which I used my Windsor and Newton designer gouache. I have recently bought a bunch of blue Windsor and Newton gouache, so there will be a video coming up of me using that and comparing Reeves gouache and Windsor and Newton gouache. I know I keep talking about it, but it is actually happening soon. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks that will be up for you to see if you want to know the actual difference in quality that you're getting. But yeah, so that's the material that I used in my usual sketchbook from Paperchase. So while doing these mouths, the one thing I really wanted to focus on is getting in the crease detail, so like the natural crease of your lips, because lips aren't completely smooth. They do have creases in the skin and things like that, and I really wanted to focus on that because I find that's another thing that I overlook quite a lot when doing mouths, and it can make my portrait seem really flat because it's missing that lifelike detail. And that I honestly feel I managed to do better than what I thought I was going to do, especially the blue mouth. I really like that. Hopefully the camera picks it up okay, but I find when I'm looking at it as a sketch, it looks really nice. It's got a good amount of shadow into it to give that effect of the natural crease and the natural shadows and highlights of a lip. So I was really, really pleased with that. The purple lips, I kind of did start to manage to get it, but I do feel like I could have done a bit more detailing. The one with the least amount of detail is actually the tentacle, which is weird because it was my favourite one to draw, but for some reason it was the least amount of effort I put into painting. I think the tentacle itself could be a lot more textured than what it is, and the lip itself, I barely put in any highlights and stuff, so it seems like a very flat colour. But as that was the more pop surreal one, I wasn't as focused on it. I was more focused on trying to get the other lips sorted, which I think I did manage. I mean, the other lips I did manage to get in that highlights and shadows effect to give more of a 3D texture to the mouths, which I was really, really focusing on for this piece. And I'm pleased that I managed to get to that point. But yeah, I think overall, pleased with how this went. I know, sorry, I'm always getting to this rambly part. I write down loads of notes and then I get to the end of the video and realise, oh, my notes weren't quite long enough. But no, overall, I'm really pleased with how this study went. I think I've definitely done what I set out to do, which was improve my confidence in drawing mouths, which I do feel a lot more confident in being able to do different expressions and not so scared of doing teeth, although as said, I still want to improve upon that, so that's something for the future. But the overall effect of the lips themselves and getting in a bit more texture, as long as I'm focusing, I know I now can do better. So for that was the main purpose of this, and I'm pleased that I managed to do that. So the reason why I do all of these my sketchbook study videos, because I've probably got quite a few now, and they range from different things such as eyes to hands to lips, to then things like clouds and landscapes and just random little things. But it's simply because each of those are to stretch and test my abilities as an artist, because hands, eyes and mouths are the three parts of the human body, well, of what I put in my drawings, because obviously I don't really do full body figures, that I struggle the most with. And so I really wanted to push myself and start improving by focusing on those areas. And then another thing that I never really used to do was backgrounds, hence why the landscape and cloud video, and there's going to be a few others coming up that I'm focusing on, because I want to improve those areas. Because the way I see it is, as an artist, especially self-taught, I don't go to art school or anything like that. I need to keep pushing myself, and the only way for me to keep learning and growing is if I do things that I don't feel confident in, and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And sometimes it doesn't work out at all, like with the tentacle mouth, there's nowhere near as much detail as there should be. But then other times you can end up with a piece like the blue mouth where I feel really confident in the way that looks. And it just goes to show, if you're putting in that bit of extra effort and focusing that little bit more, the difference it can make. Anyway, that's my little ramble done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next week in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one.